In the golden sands of ancient Egypt, there was a goddess who held secrets so alluring that her influence stretched from temples to lovers' hearts. She was Hathor, the goddess of love, beauty, music, and sensuality. To the Egyptians, she was more than a deity. She was the embodiment of irresistible attraction itself. But what exactly made Hathor so captivating? And what timeless lessons about femininity, intimacy, and desire still echo through her story? I'm David, and today we'll explore the sensual secrets behind the Egyptian goddess Hathor. Secrets that reveal how allure isn't just about appearance, but about presence, energy, and emotion. Let's begin at her temples. Hathor was worshipped in sanctuaries adorned with golden pillars, polished limestone floors, and carvings of her face with cow-like ears and serene, smiling eyes. To the untrained eye, her symbolism might seem unusual, but to the Egyptians, those images radiated comfort, pleasure, and fertility. Her worshippers believed that she could heal loneliness, spark passion, and inspire joy in relationships. Here's the intriguing part most people miss. Hathor wasn't just about beauty. She represented the union of pleasure and purpose. She reminded the people that sensuality was sacred, that intimacy wasn't separate from life's meaning, but central to it. Think about that for a moment. How often today do we divide sensuality from purpose, treating them as separate worlds? Hathor's story suggests the two must dance together to create real attraction. But what unfolded next was truly unexpected. Hathor was also the goddess of music and dance. At her festivals, women would sing, play tambourines, and dance in flowing linen dresses, their movements graceful and uninhibited. Men watched in awe, not because the women were trying to impress, but because they were lost in the rhythm of joy itself. The lesson here is powerful. True allure often comes not from seeking attention, but from being fully alive in the moment. Have you ever noticed how someone deeply absorbed in their passion becomes magnetic? That's Hathor's essence, desire born from vibrancy, not performance. And here's another secret. Hathor was known as the mistress of mirrors. Women dedicated bronze mirrors to her, believing she reflected back not just physical beauty, but inner radiance. This teaches us something crucial. Attraction is magnified when it flows from self-awareness and self-appreciation. Confidence in one's own worth, like a mirror polished bright, becomes irresistible to others. Yet the real secret to Hathor's sensual power lies in her duality. She could be gentle and nurturing, but also fiery and commanding. She was both comfort and intensity, softness and strength. This balance made her fascinating because it mirrored the complexity of human desire itself. Imagine this. A woman in ancient Egypt, standing before a polished mirror dedicated to Hathor, adjusting her jewelry and clothing, not for vanity but to align herself with the goddess's spirit. She isn't simply preparing her appearance, she's embodying confidence, mystery and presence. That's allure in its truest form. But attraction is never static. It thrives on contrast. Hathor's worshippers knew this, which is why her rituals often blended sensual celebration with sacred reverence. Couples would offer flowers, incense, and music at her altars, blending passion with devotion. The Egyptians understood something we often forget today, that the deepest connections are born when desire is linked with meaning. So ask yourself, what truly makes someone captivating? Is it perfection of form, or is it their energy, their vibrancy, and their ability to create meaning in the lives of those around them? Hathor's story leaves little doubt, and this is only the beginning, because there's another side to Hathor's power, one that reveals how sensuality, when misused, can transform into something darker, and how even passion has boundaries that must be respected. When we look deeper into Hathor's mythology, we discover a fascinating paradox. Though she was the goddess of love, music, and joy, she was also closely tied to Sekhmet, the fierce lioness goddess of war and destruction. Some traditions even describe them as two sides of the same being. This duality was more than a myth. It carried a profound truth. The Egyptians understood that attraction and intimacy are powerful forces. When channeled with care, they nurture connection. But when ignored or twisted, they can become overwhelming, even destructive. This is a powerful reminder for relationships today. Passion without balance can burn too hot. Desire without purpose can fade too quickly. But when joy, meaning, and boundaries are woven together, attraction becomes something lasting and deeply fulfilling. Hathor's temples taught this balance. Couples would leave offerings of wine, mirrors, and flowers, not as empty rituals, but as symbols of joy, reflection, and growth. Each gift reflected a part of what makes relationships thrive: pleasure, self-awareness, and shared celebration. It wasn't just about what you gave your partner, but what you contributed to the bond itself. And here's the intriguing part most people miss. Hathor wasn't only worshipped by women seeking beauty or men seeking passion. She was invoked by couples, families, and even kings. Pharaohs would dedicate shrines to her, believing her presence blessed unions and strengthened dynasties. Attraction, in her eyes, wasn't frivolous. It was the glue that held society together. Have you ever noticed how the energy of a single, joyful, confident person can lift an entire room? That was the essence of Hathor. Her presence elevated everyone around her, showing that attraction was not only about romance, but also about the power to inspire others. But what unfolded next is truly surprising. Some festivals of Hathor were so exuberant that they bordered on wild. Dancing, drinking, and laughter filled the night, as people celebrated life's pleasures without shame. To the Egyptians, this wasn't chaos. It was sacred release. It was the acknowledgement that attraction, intimacy, and joy were divine gifts, not vices to be hidden away. And yet, even in this freedom, there was reverence. Hathor's festivals reminded her followers that true sensuality wasn't empty indulgence. It was connection, vitality, and love wrapped together. That is why her symbol was often the sistrum, a musical rattle whose sound was believed to banish sadness and awaken desire. Think about that for a moment. How often today do we treat attraction as superficial, just appearances or fleeting chemistry, forgetting that it can lift the spirit, heal loneliness, and create joy? Hathor's worship suggests that the most sensual act isn't about conquest or display. It's about awakening something deeper, both in yourself and in others. So what does this mean for us today? The lesson is simple yet profound. True femininity, true sensuality, isn't about perfection or performance. It's about energy, joy, and self-awareness. When you embrace your own rhythm, your own vitality, you become magnetic. When you bring meaning and purpose into attraction, you transform desire into something unforgettable. Hathor shows us that sensuality is not shameful, but sacred. She teaches that the most captivating presence comes from balance, the ability to be joyful yet purposeful, playful yet deep, gentle yet powerful. and perhaps that is why she remains one of the most beloved and enduring figures of Egyptian mythology. So, the next time you think about what makes someone truly alluring, remember Hathor, the goddess who turned joy into magnetism, who showed that attraction is not just about the eyes, but about the spirit. And if we learn from her, we may find that the secret to lasting allure has been with us all along, hidden not in perfection, but in the dance between passion, purpose, and joy.